The hidden wealth of Russian oligarchs. The term Russian oligarch may not have made sense to you up until recently. News of governments freezing assets and imposing financial sanctions of Russian oligarchs operating within governmental jurisdiction has been a real eye-opener to the kind of money Russian oligarchs have. In case you don't know, Russian oligarchs have tons and tons of money. They can even make an ocean out of it. You could take an educated guess on how much they have, and you may still fall so far off the mark you may need a map to get back on your feet. However, what's more mysterious is the wealth you don't know about, the wealth that these oligarchs are keeping from the rest of the world. Call it smarts or trickery. One thing is certain, what these wealthy, powerful people are hiding will blow your mind. Russian oligarchs came to the doorpost of power following the events after the collapse of the Soviet Union. These groups of individuals used the uncertainty surrounding the moment to do such illicit stuff as trading government properties until they amassed a fortune. However, due to their political influence in Russia, they still continue to grow that fortune through exorbitant taxes meted out on private companies, seizure of lucrative ventures, and dipping their hands into government funds. For instance, between 2004 and 2007 alone, Gazprom, a prominent oil industry, had transferred $60 billion to several Russian oligarchs. Can you imagine that? $60 billion in 3 years. Coming back to the present day, and the amount they've gotten from Gazprom may be enough to freeze a river. And Gazprom is just one of the many companies they've gotten their talons into. You can be sure that these oligarchs are hands deep in dirt as far as there's money to be made, and there always is. If there's one thing that's certain, it's this. Russian oligarchs may be individually wealthy, but they operate like a well-run criminal organization with direct links to the Kremlin, which in this case is represented by Putin. But this is where smarts come in. Rather than store all this money up in one large stash, they decided to put their eggs in different baskets. These oligarchs have lavished ill-gotten funds, or what most governments now choose to refer to as dark money, on different investments outside of Russia, notably in planes, luxurious yachts, banks, and real estate. They've got so good at it that an air of speculation began to hang over their wealth. We can see these oligarchs. They don't hide themselves, and certainly don't hide their money. Not that money that plentiful can be hidden. We know they're as wealthy as they have air to breathe, but we don't know how much. Such hidden wealth, up until recent events, would have gone undetected, safe like pups in a den. Now, governments are cracking down on these oligarchs as a retaliation for Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and we're seeing just how much money these people have stashed in investments and purchases in other countries. But how have these people been hiding their dark money, and how have they evaded detection for so long? The answer is quite straightforward. Shell companies. Shell companies here do not refer to smaller companies under the Shell oil and gas brand. These companies are limited liability companies created by individuals. One of the perks of these companies is its ability to shield the owners from responsibility for tax, debt, and other liabilities. It's also the perfect bin to dump millions of dollars under the guise of profitable investments. These companies can now make purchases ranging from yachts to luxurious jets and really expensive houses. And if these purchases catch the attention of a curious cat, all they'll see is a company name, making purchases that are well within its rights. Of course, to be able to access the money and assets they use these shell companies to buy, Russian oligarchs have to be listed as beneficiaries to these companies. In 2014, there was a leak by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project revealing the amount of money that had been laundered out of Russia on behalf of these oligarchs, and the amount will shock you. From 2011 and 2014 alone, a total of 19 Russian banks had laundered the sum of $20.8 billion to about 5,140 companies scattered across 96 countries. This is just a small display of the stashes these oligarchs have created across the world to hide their stupendous wealth. In 2016, the controversial Panama Papers, published by the consortium of investigative journalists, revealed that a single company had set up an estimated amount of 2,071 shell companies for different Russian oligarchs, thus revealing that there's no limit to the number of shell companies an oligarch can have under their name. This might all seem like a load of jargon to you. It did to more people back then, until the Atlantic Council revealed that Russian oligarchs had about $1 trillion of these ill-gotten gains stashed in different locations outside Russia. If you can't find these funds in various offshore accounts, you'd definitely find them in dozens of luxurious purchases. And they don't seem too shy when it comes to buying the most expensive things. Why would they? If millions of dollars flowing limitlessly under your name isn't enough confidence boost for lavish spending, I don't know what is. The former Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, for instance, uses a private jet worth £37 million, yet the combined net worth of himself and his wife amounts to only £634,000. President Putin himself reportedly has a net worth of $140,000, but we know all that stops in the paper. In the real world, he owns so many expensive assets he's even rumored to be richer than Elon and Bezos combined, and these two have a net worth north of $100 billion respectively. So much dark money has gone into Cyprus that it became known as Moscow on the Med. The Atlantic Council put the cumulative sum of money Russian oligarchs had put into Cyprus to be up to $36 billion in 2013 alone. The Global Witness also estimated that these oligarchs had also stored up to $45.5 billion in the British Virgin Islands and the Cayman. All of this just in 2018 alone. Even the UK and the US aren't out of this. In fact, their flourishing economies have provided thriving grounds for Russian investments' dumping grounds. These oligarchs own a staggering minimum of $2 billion in properties in the UK. In the US, a lot of the real estate, especially in Manhattan and Florida, have been unearthed and connected to these Russian oligarchs. Unsurprisingly, these purchases run into millions of dollars. Real estate in these parts of the US can be very expensive, with the average price for a condo now north of $1.5 million. That's expensive for a house, yet we have oligarchs like Roman Abramovich owning up to $90.9 million in real estate, and a lot more. What's even more astonishing is that these real estate properties are not small money purchases. They run well into tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. People who get rich off illegal acts usually go the extra mile to hide their money, but Russian oligarchs, in the wake of recent revelations, may have set an unbeatable standard for hidden wealth. Wealthy people keep their money in banks, but for Russian oligarchs, the world is their bank. It has even been rumored that Vladimir Putin is the richest person in the world. Check out this video to see how he spent his fortune. What do you think about Russian oligarchs? Are they smart or just super tricky and deceptive? And do they deserve the heat that they're getting from governments all over the world? The comment section is wide open, so let us know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't. If you don't want to miss out on any of our subscription videos, hit the subscribe and notification buttons as well.